In Michigan, the Johnson family is thrilled to move into an old family farmhouse. But they are not alone.
I felt something touch me, and that's all it took.
And they are not welcome.
That was the moment that it decided my child was fair game.
A mother will do everything to protect her family. It starts with one.
This demon is out to destroy your entire family.
And then attacks all.
All I could think about was, I just hope this works. This needs to work.
In America, there is real evil. It lurks in the darkest shadows in our most ordinary towns. Between the worlds we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality.
I claim complete and absolute victory over the forces of darkness.
I claim complete and absolute victory over the forces of darkness.
In the name of Almighty God.
In the name of Almighty God.
Amen.
Amen.
Betty Johnson and her two sons, Bryn and Dylan, are finally getting their wish. They are moving into a larger rural home located in the outskirts of Detroit, Michigan. For the past 20 years, Betty has been happily married to her husband, Bruce. And as a proud mother of two, she is determined to provide a better life for her family.
The house belonged to my mother-in-law, and she got married and moved, so the house was sitting vacant.
Well, this is it.
She wanted us to be able to have it, and we jumped at the opportunity.
It's not perfect, but what do you think?
I love it.
Owning a house was an important goal to us. I wanted to be able to tinker around in my garage, you know, just kind of live the American dream.
When I first moved out to the farmhouse and I took my first look at it, and it was a lot larger than most of the things that I had lived in, I realized that this is where I wanted to stay.
Things seem okay for now. But are they?
Let's go, boys. You got plenty of time for messing around later. Let's get this stuff off the truck.
The first time that I walked in, it felt like home. And it was great. It was kind of quirky. It had its own kind of feel and charm to it. There were a lot of things that needed to be done cosmetically.
Betty's first order of business is to organize the basement. But as she approaches the door, she gets an uneasy feeling.
The basement in the farmhouse was kind of a creepy place. I never really liked it.
Betty figures the house is just old. She needs time to get used to it. But it won't be long until her darkest fears become reality. The next week, Betty continues to unpack. She hears something in the basement. Something strange.
I heard some sobbing.
Hello? Someone there?
I was confused because the children weren't home at the time.
Are you hurt?
It sounded as though she was in agony physically, that something was being done to her.
Betty wonders if one of her neighbors is hurt.
I went outside, and I couldn't hear it outside. I walked around the property looking for hurt animals that might be making those sounds. I never could find anything to explain it.
Betty determines her imagination is getting the best of her.
The atmosphere in the basement was creepy to begin with. I'd been working extremely long hours. I was so tired that my mind was just playing tricks on me.
Over the next several months, Betty and her family finally settle in. Bruce continues to work long hours as an appliance repairman, while Betty juggles taking care of the kids and working at the mall.
The boys were really enjoying their new home. Bryn was making a lot of friends in school and having a lot of fun, and Dylan really enjoyed playing with his brother outside in the yard.
The Johnsons work hard at making the house their own, but still, something isn't right.
I noticed a movement. When I turned to look, all I got was an impression of something dark running across the baseboards of the wall. I thought that I might be seeing our cat out of the corner of my eye.
Ruggles, what was that? Did you get a mouse?
But then, Betty sees the cat on the couch. Perhaps her eyes are playing tricks on her. Or maybe these visions are real.
I saw a face staring back at me from the window. I knew that it wasn't a real person standing outside because the window was too high off the ground. I came to the conclusion that we might have a ghost in the house. Given how old the house is, it's not surprising that there would be a ghost or two hanging around. I've never been afraid of ghosts, so the idea made me more curious than frightened.
But soon enough, her curiosity will turn to pure terror. A few nights later, Bryn is watching his younger brother while Betty and Bruce are at work.
What was that? That, my friend, was an E flat to a D. No, not that. Shh.
We heard a bang in our garage, and things fall in our garage a lot. It was a very cluttered, crazy place. But it sounded weird. It sounded like it was caused.
Take this and follow me. Yeah, but I'm scared. Shh, just come on.
Bryn and Dylan believe an intruder may have broken into the garage.
Hey, Dad! Dad! Did you forget something?
Terrified, Bryn realizes this man is not his father.
All my hair stood up when I looked at him, and it just got so much colder.
Suddenly, the man disappears.
One moment he was there, and then he just wasn't there. It was like he just turned into air. I tried to tell myself, well, since it was dark in the garage and I could barely see in the first place, maybe there really wasn't anything there. And I just tried to wrap my brain around it. I realized there was no way I was just seeing that. It was really there.
Mom, stop! Please stop! There's some guy in the garage!
Have you seen him before?
No, he's a total stranger.
Mom, please come on! I'm really not kidding!
Calm down. Calm down!
Betty is convinced that this is the ghost she saw in the kitchen window that morning.
Children can be a little overimaginative, but on the other hand, I'd been having so many strange experiences that I couldn't just discount what they were saying.
For their safety, Betty asks the boys to stay by the car while she checks out the garage alone.
Mom, I'm telling you, we heard him.
Thought I told you to stay by the car.
Why would some old geezer break in just to sort some washers?
It's a ghost.
Betty can no longer hide the truth. An entity from another realm is in their presence.
I explained to them that ghosts were real, but it wasn't something they should be frightened of. If something stirs up enough emotion, it's kind of imprinted into the world around you. So when people see ghosts, they're watching something that happened a long time ago, like an old movie.
My mom told me that so that I would understand that there was no harm that could come to me. He's just there, like almost like a visitor.
Bryn and Dylan are comforted by their mother's explanation. They realize they shouldn't fear something that cannot harm them. Or so they think. The next day, while the boys are exploring the property, Bryn notices something unusual.
There's this older house in the back of our house that we used as a storage shed. And it's always been padlocked.
It's strange. Grandpa would never leave this unlocked.
It was weird because the door was unlocked and it's never unlocked because my grandpa was the only one who really had the key.
Come on. Whoa. We're not supposed to be in here. Dude, you gotta check this out. Friend, this is where Grandpa keeps his tools. If we break anything, he'll kill us. Don't be a baby. Bren? Uh-huh. I can see my breath. It's like 70 degrees out. Look.
Our bodies felt completely normal, but something inside our lungs was cold. So the first thing I thought was that there's definitely a spirit in here.
Yeah, okay. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go. Well, maybe it was the ghost.
I felt like something was outside with me, like it was taunting me. And I remembered what my mom told me. It's a ghost. Ghosts can't do anything.
What is it, huh? What do you want from us? You know we're not scared of you?
I just kind of felt more empowered than the ghost was. That's why I engaged it.
Why don't you just leave?
Bryn's mother thinks ghosts are harmless. But what if she's wrong? And what if this one has found its latest victim?
I didn't know how to rationalize it. I was just terrified.
Why don't you just leave?
After provoking the paranormal presence, Bryn realizes the entity is much stronger than he ever expected.
And when I spun around, I felt an energy run behind me, and it got really, really cold.
Bryn, what were you doing in Grandpa's shed?
Mom, listen, there's something there, and I'm pretty sure this thing's angry at me. Look, it just dropped this giant branch right on me, and I swear this thing just nearly killed me.
Until this moment, Betty never believed that ghosts could interact with the living.
Having the branch break or locked door be opened made me reevaluate what I thought I knew about ghosts. And the first thing I thought of was what kind of effect it could have on my children.
Betty worries that her sons are in danger and knows she must take control immediately. Later that night, Betty confides in Bruce.
Are you happy?
What kind of question is that? Of course I'm happy.
Something happened today.
What?
You know how I've been telling you about all those strange things that have been going on around here?
Yeah?
It's happening to Bryn and Dylan, too.
What's happening?
I just don't feel safe here anymore. There's something here. I don't want to risk the boys' safety.
The violence seemed to be growing, and we didn't know how far it was going to go, and we didn't want to find out.
We thought that as much as we loved the house, if things were becoming physical, that it would be better if we moved and took the boys away from that environment.
And don't you want to have a place of our own? Just hours. We've probably saved up enough for a down payment. We could get a place closer to work.
I was driving 45 minutes each way to work every day, and gas was getting incredibly expensive. We decided that it was a good time to move.
I suppose you're right.
Soon after, Betty and her family moved to a newer home in the nearby suburb of Novi, Michigan.
We've saved up enough money where we could put a down payment on a house that we could actually own and have it be ours.
Not gonna need this anymore.
It was very different. Everything was new, everything was fresh, nice and clean. I mean, we really liked it. We were excited.
It was a clean home, a clean slate. Everything seemed possible.
But little do they know, their dreams will soon be shattered. Just as life is improving for the Johnson family, things take an unexpected turn for the worse.
Shortly after we moved into our new home, I lost my job, and it seemed as though the plan that we had that was coming together wasn't anymore.
With Betty not working, it was up to me to take every bit of work I could get. I would do whatever I could to bring home more money.
Hey, Bryn, have you seen my pad?
Yeah, it's right there. But hey, you mind if I ride along today?
This ain't gonna be no carnival, Bryn. You're gonna get your hands dirty.
How about you let me worry about that?
Yeah, come on.
Let's go.
My dad worked a lot, but we still managed to stay close.
Not a bad day for plumbing, huh?
Yeah.
We did a lot of driving from house to house, so we always got time to talk.
I had him ride with me to my service calls for about 3 or 4 months, and it was fun. I got to know him a little better.
That's it. Good as new.
All right.
Bryn appears to be the primary target of something supernatural.
Bryn? Bryn? It's just water.
No, that is blood.
Bryn, there is no blood. Just water. See? See? Now, the grease on your hands may look like blood.
Bryn is terrified. To him, this is no mere hallucination.
It felt viscous to my touch. It felt more real like blood than it did like water.
Bryn's visions of blood are horrifying enough, but worse is the feeling of alienation that accompanies them.
I didn't know if my eyes weren't working right or just the connection to my brain was just getting confused.
What is it?
The lake. It's all blood.
It got deeper red and started to look like blood.
Come on, you know it can't be blood.
But look at it, it's all blood.
Maybe it's just a trick with the light.
What did you hit?
I didn't hit anything.
It's under the truck. Dad, stop the car, it's going under the truck.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Every time someone speaks, Bryn hears nothing but a scream. Someone or something is controlling his mind. But who or what is it?
I couldn't even articulate what was going on. I thought I was going crazy.
Bryn continues to see blood over the next several days.
No matter what kind of liquid I was looking at, it looked like blood.
Bryn's increasingly strange behavior is starting to worry his mother.
What's going on?
On the ride home, he kinda He freaked out. What? Says he saw blood in the lake and earlier when he was washing his hands. Wherever there's water, it's like he sees blood.
My first reaction was the fear that maybe Bryn was doing drugs. He wasn't. My second fear was that something was wrong with him physically.
To ease her fears, Betty takes Bryn to see a doctor.
They ran an MRI, they ran an EKG, and the neurologist confirmed that there was nothing wrong with my brain and that there was no regular brain patterns or tumors or lesions. They didn't know what was causing it.
Besides some obvious stress that I think Bryn's under, he's perfectly fine.
I knew there was something wrong somewhere. Either I was crazy or there really was blood. And those were the only two options. I was trying to see it as a sort of message, like things are going to start getting bad soon.
But instead of getting worse, after several days, the visions mysteriously go away. At last, Bryn is relieved he can finally take a shower and not be haunted by blood covering his body.
And then I felt the curtain move. As though like someone's fingertips were grazing across it.
Dylan, cut it out.
It got so cold. It was hot water and I still felt cold. And I couldn't shake the feeling that there was still someone in there. And I was looking right at it.
Yes, hello. I'm calling about your ad for the retail manager.
Mom!
Is the position still open?
Mom, please come quick!
Yes, the one in today's paper.
Mom, die now! Mom, it says to die now!
I'm gonna have to call you back. What?
Please, just come look.
Bryn believes someone is trying to send him a message.
It said, Juan. Like someone on the other side of the mirror wrote it forwards.
Someone must have written it there before we moved in.
Then why would I have not seen this before?
Did you do this?
What?
Right on the mirror.
No, why would I do that?
I knew that Dylan would never do that to his brothers. He was terrified enough.
Betty begins to feel helpless. She cannot explain the writing on the mirror and can no longer ease her son's fears.
Something was happening to my son that I couldn't protect him from. That's when I began to get angry. I started worrying that maybe the doctors had missed something.
Over the next few weeks, Bryn grows increasingly depressed and withdrawn.
I spent a lot of time in my room because I didn't feel like being around people a lot, but I heard a voice as if it was coming from the room I was in.
What? Hey! Who's there?
When the voice speaks, it's with the same message Bryn had seen on the mirror. With powers of mind and now communication, the entity is growing in strength. It appears to be out to kill.
Whenever I felt any split second of happiness, it would just rip it away from me and tell me I wasn't worth it. And now I should just end my life. It felt exactly like what had been happening in the farmhouse. I couldn't breathe and I didn't know what to say to it. This thing really wanted to hurt either me or my family, and it was willing to travel 30 miles to do so.
After coming face to face with the dark figure, Bryn realizes that he is not simply hallucinating. This entity is controlling his mind.
Did you see that?
What?
No, it was something black, like a shadow.
Where's the cat?
That was it! You just saw it, didn't you? Look, there it is again!
It didn't look like the shadows that I had seen at the farmhouse. It was bigger. It didn't skitter away when I looked directly at it. As though it wanted me to notice it, wanted me to know that it was there. It was frightening.
Bryn is relieved that his family finally believes him, but he realizes they are dealing with a force of pure evil.
What the hell was that?
It was my own personal monster, and it was just taunting me by taunting my family.
There was a presence at that farmhouse.
Betty believes that something from the old farmhouse must have followed them. They decide to call Bruce's mother for answers.
Hi, Mom. Yeah, listen, did anything strange ever happen at the farmhouse? Like, did somebody die?
Bruce learns that a previous resident of the farmhouse was a violent man.
Hey, old man. Isn't it past your bedtime?
One night, the former resident interrupted a party on the property and became involved in a heated argument.
That'll learn you, stupid old man. Hey!
The young man he struck did not die, but he was blinded in one eye. His girlfriend witnessed the incident. She ran straight to the police and offered to testify against him in court. But fate had its own tragic plan.
The former resident died horribly in a car accident. Broke most of the bones in his body and spent the next 24 hours dying in terrible pain, from what we heard.
Betty and Bruce are convinced that same man is now a ghost, bent on destroying their family.
It felt really, really evil.
Okay. Now, how do we get rid of it?
I stopped looking for work. Every waking moment, I was on the computer trying to find somebody that could help me.
Betty takes control and scours the internet, desperately seeking advice from paranormal investigators. But many investigators seem to be in it just for the money.
I found a lot of con artists, and worse, they just immediately jumped and said, I can make all your problems disappear for X amount of dollars.
The family decides to stick together until Betty can find some help. Bryn and Dylan sleep in the living room.
Most of the activity happened in our rooms, and we were terrified to be in there at night.
I'm sorry, honey. I didn't mean to scare you.
Even though she cannot control the evil, Betty is trying to fix it. But with no money to spend on investigators, she is reaching a dead end.
I was losing faith in the idea that it couldn't harm me, but my mom reassured me. And so, since it was the only thing I had to go on, I believed it.
Hey, Bryn, if you're gonna go take a shower, let me stand guard outside the door, okay? We should all keep together as much as we can.
I felt something touch me, so I paused for just a second, and that's all it took.
For more A Haunting, go to DestinationAmerica.com. An evil entity has invaded the Johnson home. Bent on destroying the eldest child, it has thrown Bryn down the hall.
That's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. He had marks on his body where something had pushed him.
It wasn't like a normal scratch. It felt like there was like a dirtiness to it, almost like if you get uninfected. But it was fresh. If it can do that, then what else can it do?
Refusing to give up, Betty works tirelessly to find help.
There had to be somebody out there that knew what was going on and knew how to deal with it.
Bryn thought he was going crazy, but then I saw it too. We all did.
No, you're not going crazy. But You have to be honest with me.
Samantha Harris, an investigator with the Michigan Paranormal Research Association, is willing to help.
She just sounded so confident, but at the same time I was thinking, yeah, well, you haven't heard what problems are going on in my house yet.
I see on your website that you do a house cleansing. What exactly is that?
We remove negative energy and spirits and replenish the house with a white light and positive energy.
It's a purification ritual. I'm an ordained minister, and I'll lead you in a prayer.
I'm not a very religious person.
Do you believe in a higher power?
Yes. Yes, I do believe in a higher power.
I believe that performing a house blessing is kind of an obligation.
Samantha seems genuinely caring and concerned. Betty's relieved that help is on the way.
It sounded like it was a very severe case, and I wanted to respond to it as soon as possible.
Later that evening, as Samantha is getting ready for the house blessing, she suddenly feels uneasy.
It felt like something evil was in my house. I saw in the corner of my eye some movement.
The dark figure she sees matches Betty's description of the entity that is menacing her home.
I know what you are!
I'm terrified inside, but I knew I had to assert myself and to stand my ground.
We're gonna help that family, you hear me? You can't scare us off!
In all the years that I had worked on demonic cases, I had never seen one physically appear for us. And it worried me.
The next night, Samantha and her partner Kyle Gask Wilson arrive.
You can just sense the heaviness, the depression, the anger, the hatred that was present.
This is my family, my husband Bruce, my son Dylan.
Dylan.
And this is Bryn.
Nice to meet you, Bryn. I'm Kyle.
When I met Bryn for the first time, you could really tell that he had a lot of pain inside him. Fear that you could see in his eyes.
The man who lived in the farmhouse before we did, do you think it's his spirit?
I told Samantha about the man that had lived in the farmhouse before us, the one that had died in the automobile accident.
Ghosts don't follow people around from one place to another. I believe that what we're dealing with here is a separate entity. A demon.
Just hearing that word, a demon, made my skin crawl.
Probably the same demon that influenced that man to act violently.
I think it was very probable that the demonic entity attached itself to the previous homeowner of the farmhouse and then influenced his behavior.
After the man died, the demon began searching for another, someone young and vulnerable. You, being under stress, were easy prey.
I believe when a person challenges an entity, that they become vulnerable.
You know we're not scared of you! Why don't you just leave?
And I think that challenge provoked it.
That was the moment that it decided that my child was fair game.
That would explain the visions of blood and the voices he hears.
In my experience, human spirits typically don't have that type of power to physically lift people, to claw them. Those were some of the reasons why I thought this case was demonic. I was fearful it would soon move on to demonic possession.
It's clear to me that this demon is out to destroy Bryn. And not just you, Bryn, but your entire family.
Betty feels helpless. Her family is dealing with an entity of pure evil. One with powers beyond her wildest imagination.
All I could think about was, I just hope this works. This needs to work.
Did you see that?
I think it was the demon trying to tell everyone in the room that no matter what we did, it wasn't going to leave.
It's here.
We thought we knew what we had been dealing with. We didn't.
Now that the demon is present, Betty and her family know they must prepare for a battle with the supernatural. Having received a sign, that the demon is present, Samantha prepares her assault on the entity. The power of their will, strong as it might be, would never be strong enough to defeat a demon. They must also use sacred oils, salts, and incense, materials known to drive out evil spirits.
Olive oil is believed to be a symbol of peace, and it's believed to drive out negative energy as well.
Smudging is a traditional purification rite that uses smoke to drive out evil.
I like to use a Native American smudging method in combination with a Christian Catholic ritual, and we also use some South American rituals as well. White sage creates an atmosphere that's not hospitable for a demonic entity.
Using a ceremonial feather, a gift from a Native American shaman, Samantha begins.
As I walked into Bryn's room, I could really feel this heaviness.
Kyle anoints the lintels with olive oil. Above each door and window, he makes a sign of the cross.
As I was in Bryn's room, anointing above the window, a voice came to my right ear. Just shot shivers throughout my whole entire arm. I could feel the hair in the back of my neck just go straight up. As I turned around to anoint the other wall, I felt something grab my right arm.
While Kyle anoints every portal, Samantha performs a ceremony in Dylan's room.
Salt is believed to act as a barrier to keep a demonic feature from entering the home again.
It spoke to me.
What happened?
In my right ear. It said, "Get out now, plain as day."
Where were you?
Bryn's room. This thing is really powerful. I don't know whether we should be here.
This definitely stirred some fear inside of me, but we promised ourselves that we'll never stop doing a house blessing no matter what happens.
I made a vow to protect this family. There.
You could feel the entity move from room to room. It was like a cornered animal. You could feel the hatred it felt towards you, and it despised our efforts in trying to remove it.
As the ultimate weapon in their battle against the demon, Samantha brings out a prayer.
This is the warfare prayer. It's all that we have left. We must prove that we are stronger.
What do you want me to do?
Recite it, lead your family, believe in those words. The strength of your belief is all that matters now. Your mother is going to read a prayer. I want you to repeat the words as she says them, okay?
You have to do this right. To find the inner strength, all I had to do was look at my children.
Heavenly Spirit, I claim the protection of the light.
Heavenly Spirit, I claim the protection of the light.
For my family, my finances, my home, my soul.
The ability to defeat the demon rests on the power of prayer and the strength of Bryn to resist one final attack. For the Johnson family, gaining control of their lives has come down to one final prayer.
My soul and my body.
Halfway through the prayer, I noticed that Bryn started to act a little strange.
My home, my soul, and my body.
I take a stand against all the workings of darkness.
I felt really sick every time I uttered a word. It felt like I was going to vomit.
I take a stand
against all workings of the darkness.
I could feel it struggling inside of me, almost like an animal in my chest. It was trying to take something with it, and if it succeeded, I wasn't going to be the same anymore.
I resist the spirit of fear.
I resist the spirit of fear.
Bryn, it's gonna be okay.
I've never seen this before in my life. I started to question, are we gonna be able to help this family?
Bryn, it's gonna be okay. Bryn, I'm here. Go on. I can't. Go on. Bryn, I can't.
It's okay. Finish it.
Ultimately, a demon wants to destroy life, wants to destroy hope. That's what this demon was trying to do, was trying to destroy my family.
No! You can't take him! You have no power here! Nothing will hurt me! Nothing will hurt me!
I'm gonna stand up to it like I did that one day, because Wanting to terrorize me is one thing, but wanting to destroy me that's unacceptable.
I claim complete and absolute victory over the forces of darkness.
I claim complete and absolute victory over the forces of darkness.
In the name of Almighty God.
In the name of Almighty God.
Amen.
Like that. It was just gone. I felt like I could breathe normally for once. There wasn't something holding me down.
It felt like there was this light that came into the home. It's actually such a beautiful moment. It was very touching to have helped Betty's family.
Can I give you a hug?
The gratitude felt by Betty and her family runs so deep they cannot possibly express it. At last, they are safe.
You've been through hell and back with the family, and so when you change their lives, it's a fantastic feeling.
If we hadn't have found Samantha and her team, I would have lost my family. I don't think that even the strongest family could survive something like that for too long. We were always a family, we were always there for each other, and the love that we have for each other got us through. As the days passed, there was a lightness in the house.
Here we go, guys.
We felt more energetic, younger, happier.
Our house felt nicer and felt like I could take deep breaths and feel comfortable.
I stopped hearing those evil voices. I stopped feeling sick. I feel like we are finally back to just being a family.
It's just the wind, guys. Window's open.
Before this happened, if anyone had asked me if I believed in demons, I would have had to say, But now I'm thoroughly convinced there had to have been a demon.
It's kind of like a tick or a parasite. The longer you let a demonic entity reside in your life and in your home, the harder it is to get rid of it.
Because of this whole experience, we know that we can rely on each other. What I want for my family now is the same thing that I've always wanted for my family. I want my children to be happy, to be successful human beings. I want us to always love each other. My dream for my family has never changed. But now I think it has a chance of becoming reality.